So this is the 2017 Jeep Cherokee Limited with all-wheel drive. It's a 4-door SUV. This one comes in gray. I really enjoy driving this car. Something that I think is worth noting is the large back storage area. And really interesting, if you actually lift up the floor of the trunk space, there's some additional compartmental storage that I thought was really useful. The interior of this car is all leather, really nice looking, and it's full of some really great features that I think you and your passengers will enjoy. This is the view from the driver's seat. The steering wheel has standard buttons right here to interact with the heads-up display in the center, 3 buttons to interact with your telephone, and then the standard cruise control buttons right here. The steering wheel itself adjusts both vertically, so you can adjust it up and down, and then it can telescope in and out, which is really nice to get things comfortable. This vehicle comes with a key fob, no actual physical key, and it is a push button start. Push button is just to the right of the steering wheel, and here's what it looks like when you turn it on. On the left hand side of the driver's seat you have a couple controls. You have the standard lock buttons, the no one can open the windows but me button, individual buttons for each of the windows, and then adjustments for the mirror. The side mirror does not have any special features. There's no blindside detection, but you know, you can't ask for everything. There's also a knob to adjust the lights, and then 2 sliding dials to adjust the brightness of the heads-up display. The center console includes a large touchscreen where you can interact with the entertainment options. A couple of nice features that are embedded into the touchscreen. If you go to the controls tab, there is a heated seat option for both the driver and the passenger. I found this heated up really quickly and felt pretty nice. There's also a heated steering wheel option. This took a little bit longer to heat up, and I noticed that the heat was generally right here and right here on the sides of the steering wheel, though it did eventually work its way up to the top and bottom of the steering wheel. One thing I'm not a fan of is having the climate controls be embedded into menus in the touchscreen. For instance, on this one, you can turn the climate on and off by the buttons down here, but to switch between having the vents blow from the top or just have them blow from the bottom or vice versa, you have to actually go into the touchscreen and then select the option here. It's not that much of a big deal, but I do find it a bit distracting when I'm driving to have to interact with the touchscreen to do something this basic. Directly below there are the climate controls. You can have a turn knob to adjust the fan, and then physical buttons to adjust both the temperature for the driver's side and for the passenger side. Something I really like about this is that there's an actual physical button to control the touchscreen. So watch, I can press this screen off button and the screen will go dark. It's really nice to have that, especially when you're driving at night. I find this to be very distracting when it's dark outside. Above the center console is an additional storage space right here. It's a kind of a pull button feature to open it up, and then there's a small area for additional storage. Directly below the climate controls, there's a series of ports, one for a memory card, one for USB, and one for audio in. There's also a DC adapter that comes in the form of a cigarette lighter. There's also a dial to switch between different possible terrain. You have snow, sport, and sand and mud. I've left it on auto for almost the entire trip. The gear shift has a sizable knob on the front and a push button feature on the front, and it slides pretty gently through each gear. The parking brake is just a push button, pull up to activate the parking brake, and then push down to turn it off. You also get 2 pretty sizable cup holders, and then I really liked this additional storage space right here. It was perfect to put my cell phone. And then the center console is pretty large. Open it up and you get a very deep storage space, along with an additional USB connector, places for coins, and then a DC power adapter that comes in the form of a cigarette lighter. The rear view mirror comes with 2 buttons, one for assist and one for 911, And then directly above there are buttons to interact with the lights. And then a sunglass holder compartment that is padded with a rubbery substance. It feels pretty nice. There's kind of a secret additional storage area. This is the passenger side, and I noticed there's a small tab right here. If you pull it up, there's quite a big cabin down here for a lot of extra stuff. The glove box is pretty sizable. You see, it goes back quite a long ways. I get my full forearm in there, so there is quite a bit of room. I was a little disappointed to find that the passenger seat does not have electronic controls to adjust the seat. There are manual controls both for reclining, raising and lowering the seat, and then adjusting the seat forward and backwards. One thing I'm not a fan of is where the fuel button is located. It's right here underneath the armrest on the door. So you have to push this here and then travel around to the passenger side of the vehicle to insert the fuel pump with a normal twist-off container. So this is the view from the back seat. I'm about 6 feet tall and I have plenty of leg room. I put the passenger seat at what I would consider to be a comfortable setting. The rest of the back seat is pretty nice. You do have a center armrest with 2 cup holders and then 2 dedicated vents in the center console with a control to adjust things, and then it looks like a power port down here at the bottom. It's actually a plug, which is really nice. Another great thing about the back seat is that the hooks that you can use to hook up a child seat are really obvious. You don't have to dig down at all to get to them, which is a real nice feature if you're a parent. And I'm looking back at the passenger seats in the rear, and I noticed, and this is all my junk, but looking down here, there's an additional way you can adjust each seat by pulling up, and then you can adjust the seats forward and backward. Really a nice additional feature. It was a 2017 Jeep Cherokee Limited. I give this car 5 stars. It was an excellent vehicle full of great features. I'm renting 100 rental cars. This was number 7. Wasn't quite as good as the Ford Edge Titanium, so I'm placing it slightly below and putting it on number 3 of my list. But there's a lot of cars to go, so who knows what'll happen. Thanks for watching, and please check out my next video when I'll be running another car.